Hello everyone, this is Christian Kessler, also known as KnowOne, and today I'm going to be going over my project, KnowOne's Website of Everything. This project serves as a testament to my HTML, CSS, and JavaScript skills. The website can be seen at knowonswebsiteofeverything.com, and all the project files can be viewed at chris-kessler/knowonswebsiteofeverything website of everything on GitHub. Going into the actual project files, we're going to close out several of these. We're going to look at the classes page. Opening that with live server, we're going to close the actual website so you can see the updates in real time. Let's go to the home page. You can see we've got a nice header, a nice footer, and a background that doesn't move with us as we scroll. A little bit of an introduction to what the website's all about. Most of it talks about tabletop role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, but the subsite, Caped Crusaders, is a portion of the site dedicated to making my own variant rule system for Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. We're going to go into the classes page. You can see we've got a table of buttons, and those buttons have descriptions, images, and color-coded associations. There's a text describing the classes and all of that. But the purpose of this showcase is to demonstrate my HTML, CSS, and JavaScript skills. So rather than focusing on the content that I've created, which does matter to me, I'm going to be focusing on the actual technical code behind everything. So let's start with the visionary class. You can see we've got lots of content here, some images, a large table with hyperlinks that will take us scrolled down to the features printed beneath the table. You can see that we're using the actual tech casting milestone name as an ID, allowing us to navigate around within the same page, and down below we have some subclasses. Now, going back into the code, let's look at the visionary page. We're going to go to the classes folder, visionary.html. Let's get rid of that search query. We've got a rather large, probably not by professional standards, but at least for the scope of my assignments, JavaScript function at the very top. There's two of them, in fact. One of them is import content, which pulls the page header and the page footer into the HTML page, so I don't have to change it every time I decide to tweak the aesthetic look of the site. There's also a function called readClass that accesses the classes.json file, which is right here. The classes.json file is the one that has all of the attributes that relate to the actual classes. It's the one that tells you what the name of the class is, where the image is located, all of their attributes, what all of the features should be called, how to mathematically break down the tables regarding consumable points, and so forth. The way that this is beneficial, the reason this is beneficial, is because I don't have to change the content of this file if I want to change the visionary class. All of the code, every single character in this HTML file is identical to the content within Subvertist, Soldier, Metamorph, Dynamo, and Anointed files as well. The only thing that's different is the actual name. Because the script pulls in information from the classes.json file based on the name of the page, it reads the information from a centralized point. I'll give you an example of this. You can see that we have the visionary class. It's called the visionary right here. It's called the visionary table, and when we go out to classes, it lists visionary on the button itself. Now, the word visionary isn't even used in this file, not that I'm aware of. This is the visionary page, the HTML page that we navigated to. You can even see it up here, classes/visionary.html. But by searching in here, it's not mentioned anywhere. If we go into classes, we do find visionary. So, just for demonstration purposes, let's change this to inventor. When we save that file, we can go back to the classes and we see that it's changed in the classes page. This button, this class, is now called an inventor. And I don't mean class in programming terms. Class as in a tabletop RPG set of abilities you can assign to a character. If we go to the now called inventor page, we can see that the name is changed to inventor at the top and for the inventor table. What's also interesting to note about the table itself and the hyperlinks that it has, each one links you to a specific feature. So the tech casting milestone is received at level 1. You can see that here, level 1, tech casting milestone. It'll always take us there. But tech casting milestones exist at higher levels as well. So let's look at the level 15 tech casting milestone. What happens when we click on that? It takes us to the tech casting milestone at level 1. I've included a portion of script that reads for the class table features HTML element and searches for a feature with a similar name. The tech casting milestone it signifies that you're gaining an additional consumable level, but the reason that there's multiple of them doesn't really matter. The point is that we have multiple identical features that are defined the same way. If I were to print them all out, we would have an extremely long page and not all the information would be digestible. It wouldn't be relevant. But by searching for it and preventing the actual script from printing out these features based on what's already there, we can keep the page nice and short. Tech casting milestone is right here. Augmented armor, expertise, subclass feature. Everything you're looking at beyond the table is something you haven't seen yet, or at least not that you've seen in great detail. That helps prevent redundancy, and it's a nice efficient way to lay out the actual page itself. The subclasses themselves are also listed in the JSON file. You can see that if you scroll down a little bit and collapse the class feet, subclass tech name, subclass power name. The images are stored as strings to the file location. May not be the most efficient way to do it, but it's worked out very effectively for me so far. And even though there seems to be a large amount of script powering each page, I've had minimal, if even any, issues regarding the loading speed of the pages themselves. So everything is working to a degree that I'm extremely satisfied with so far. I need to keep adding content, of course, and cleaning things up as needed. The alt text is sliding off the button a little bit, but that shouldn't be an issue once all the images are in place and everything like that. What I think is the most, I wouldn't say impressive, because I'm not here to brag about myself and I'm not trying to seem arrogant, but I am proud of my work. What I guess I'm most proud of is the fact that I haven't studied HTML or CSS or JavaScript academically at all in my degree program so far. This is simply a self-taught discipline because I thought it would be interesting to have my own website. So the reason I point out the JSON centralization of information that affects multiple pages on the actual site is due to a principle I hear about in tutorials quite frequently. It's called DRY, and it stands for don't repeat yourself. And I think the principle that you can see when I change this single variable in a JSON file and the effects that has on the classes page and the actual class page itself. I think that's a good example of the DRY principle in action. So there's a lot of content here. I can't get into the actual mechanics of how these things all work. I might do that in another showcase later on, but that's not for my portfolio whatsoever. I'm not trying to demonstrate my ability as a tabletop RPG designer. I'm a computer scientist, and this is a project that showcases my ability to competently web develop. So feel free to check out the actual website yourself if you like. Again, it's at KnowOne'sWebsiteOfEverything.com. Watch out for the K and the W. And I'd be eager to hear your feedback.